to our extraordinary regional transport meeting today. We've got Lisa online and Arnie online. Start off with Karakia. Ngā mihi o te rā ki te whānau, e hui hui kei, kia tau te rangi mari, kia whakatapua tātou me ngā me, e whakapono ana tātou haumi e hui e. Translate that. Greetings of the day to the whānau gathered here. Let peace be with us, and may we respect each other and what we. We got any apologies today?
Councillor Parata is still a lateness apology. She's not here, but she did put in her apology, and Councillor Robinson.
Is this full committee or just regional transport?
It's only Angelique from Regional Transport.
Oh my goodness, if you told me that, I would have hoofed it a long time ago.
Well picked up.
Any
Sorry, and Linda Stewart.
we might get her online during the meeting, hopefully. Any declarations of interest? Leave of absence? No. Any acknowledgements or tributes? No public inputs or petitions? No extraordinary business? No notions of motion? No adjourned business? So we'll go to the report. The purpose of this report is to advise the committee of significant decrease in the regional road transport funding for 24-27. It's gone from 1.255 billion to 554,000. So we're on, obviously not our decision, but we're here to discuss it and the effects on us.
Yeah, thank you through the chair, and I don't have the subject matter expert here that can talk through all the components of the report, so you'll just have to bear with me. And the main thing here is that there's been a 56% decrease in the funding that's been allocated for regional road safety. You can see on page 1 the list of the programs that we had initially put up. Staff have gone away and reprioritised given the significant drop in funding and put forward a program outlined under 10 in the report. The purpose is to check in and to make sure that these are the right programs that the committee are comfortable with progressing. Just aware in terms of the driver's licence, which was a significant portion of funding has been dropped from the recommended programs going forward. So with that in mind, and given some of the risks, it was best to just check in with the RTC that these are the right programs that we want to see going forward.
I'll give regional transport committee members the opportunity to speak first. Yeah, if there's anyone else in the room who wants to speak later, you're welcome. Councillor Telfer.
Thank you, Chair. The 554,000 that's been allocated, is that allocated to those specific things that it was put in for, or can we move it around?
So you
Otherwise,
yeah.
that's sort of locked in.
No, so you can move it around while the information has already gone to NTA. In terms of this program, we can go back and say that we're wanting to revise it based on the conversations that we had here. So if you saw something on this program of work that you thought actually was better than, or was more worthy of being invested in, then the program that I've been outlined, which is basically 3 programs in section 10, then you can do so. Bearing in mind that when staff put this together, there was an assessment around a kind of reach of what we could kind of bang for buck, basically.
Just for clarity, so this is staff's recommendation.
Yes.
Arnie online.
Inviting
Sorry, was that for me, Teddy? Oh, kia ora. Thank you to the chair, and thank you for the paper. Yeah, I mean, and it was quite sobering to look at the significant number of programs that we can't offer any longer because of the cuts. Oh, gosh, sorry. I can see, I guess I know that we've had, I've had lots of approaches around around motorcycle awareness, especially with the conditions of roads, on and the, I guess, the skill sets that are needed around motorbikes in particular, but also I just wanted to know, so the Community Road Safety Fund, how will that be rolled out now with the so it'll be a contestable fund, is that what we say? That's a question to Nadine, I think. Sorry, page 8, Community Road Safety Fund.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, is that?
It's like a contestable funding model.
Yeah.
Apply, and then the initiatives will be assessed and awarded.
So when would that likely be? Would that go out the same time as the waste minimisation funds, or is there a schedule of when that might go out? It's not a lot of money, but I suppose it's something.
Yeah, I would have to come back to you, Councillor Hahurunui, and once I've got time frame. Well, once this is confirmed, and then we can work through the time frames.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add at the moment, Teddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gregory.
Thank you, Chair. I am disappointed, obviously, like everybody else, in the reduction of funding. However, I am more than happy with the revised program that's been put forward by staff, and I would be happy to move it.
Sorry, I'm happy to second that as well.
Copy. You've got a mover and a seconder for this paper. Is there anything that we've got Linda online now from Green Transport? Is there anything you want to add to this paper at all, Linda? Move it?
No, nothing further.
So, Councillor Calder.
Yeah, just one query I've got on what was in the program that was submitted. The recidivist street driving program was only $30,000, and yet we've got it here as a recommendation being $150,000. I personally would rather have the driver licensing, McInnes driver licensing training come right to the top of the program there. I don't understand. We put it for $30,000 when we submitted in for the original 1.255, and why any reason why now it's come back to us that's gone up to 150,000 in the yeah. I personally, yeah, the driver licensing thing to me is getting these kids up to speed, and license is a real important thing.
So, through the chair, my understanding when this was put forward in terms of the deprioritisation, recognising that drivers licensing is a significant contributor to future employment and other outcomes for youth, what the staff had advised was that there were a number of other programs that were operating in the driver licence area, so that that's why, and given the number of fatalities or accidents that happen in sort of driving, that was one of the reasons why that was prioritised. I can't answer the question in terms of why the increase.
It's exactly the same. It's 50,000 for each year, and a total of 150,000. It's exactly the same as what it was in the proposal.
Linda, have you got a comment on that?
Yes.
See your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just for context from a national level, driver licensing is a high priority for this government and for our minister. We have two streams of work happening to address some of the pressure that the system is under. And one of those is making good headway, and that is the further recruitment of more driver testing officers. So we've got an accelerated programme. I think it's to recruit another 70 across the MOTU by the end of this year. And then there's a further target with BTNZ as well for next year. I would note too, though, in reference specifically to the great work that's done with community driver testing officers in Tairāwhiti, and it is noted in the NLTP document that because of the success of that trial in Te Tairāwhiti, there is a commitment to working with the region to secure ongoing funding to support that initiative. So it's not that there's only one thing happening, just to provide a bit of reassurance as well to what your Chief Executive outlined. There are still a number of different initiatives. So while how we're funding road safety outcomes overall is changing, our commitment through our regulatory work and through driver licensing is beginning to actually ramp up now, which is positive.
Is there anyone not on the committee who wants to comment? Thank you, Chair. Just a question with the cuts. Is anyone being made redundant? So,
Yep, so through the chair, there will be a reduction in the time that's provided. So at the moment we have one FTE, and we will look at alternative options for an individual that's impacted by this, but given that it's a half, you would see a support for that area reduce proportionately to the funding that's available.
Councillor Foster.
Yeah, thank you. Just with the learner licences, 183 learner licences last year and 51 restricted licences, is that comparable to all the other years, or is that an increase from previous years?
I would be swimming outside my lane trying to answer that. Councillor Foster, I'll give you a response to just the trends data.
Because I agree with Councillor Toffa. You know, that is such an important thing, and to see that being cut is or reprioritised, you know, is concerning. The learner licences and restricted licences are just so important for this region and for you, because no one can get a job or employment or do anything without a licence. And we do have a lot of unlicensed drivers around the place as well, which is another area to be addressed. So,
The question is whether it's a council job.
Yes, but so I suppose, yeah, the question is, that the funding's been dropped. Are we happy with where the funding's going, or do we want to put more money into driver licensing as being discussed? We've got no more comments. Sorry, Arnie's hands back up. Arnie?
Thank you through the chair. I guess it's whether or not it's our core business and council, as Linda said, and I've got some experience with the CDTO program in my previous work with Tairāwhiti REAP, and the problem at the time, and still is, was the lack of testing officers. And as Linda said, there's a real concentrated effort in raising and training around the country now, testing officers. You could wait, between 3 and 6 months to get a test. So you can have all the lessons and driver instruction, but if you can't get tested, that's where things come a cropper. And it's whether or not, do we know who are the other providers in town that are also doing driver licensing and doing a good job of it? Tairāwhiti Rep specifically, well, mostly looks at rural areas from Pōtaka down to Wairoa, but also works, the CDTO also works with Cialo, Pacifica training provider in town, and also Atawhai and others. So I think before we commit, because we don't have a lot of money, maybe doing some scoping out in town to see who else is actually delivering driver licensing and doing a good job of that, rather than us doing it if that's not what our core business is, or whether we're stretched now than we have been before. That would be my suggestion, is to do some environmental scanning in that space.
So, if I'm made through the chair, so L'Oreal has conducted or had a look at the other providers for driver's licensing. I don't know if you want to make a comment on that, L'Oreal?
Yes, so we discussed with NZTA the other providers in town, and just to better understand what they can provide, so and who to. So a lot of Ngāra Pai is only urban, but the other providers that were mentioned can offer more than just an urban focus. They're regional, and they can offer up to full license as well, learners restricted and full license. So Ngāra Pai currently can only do learners and restricted based off our funding criteria from NZTA. Sorry.
So we've got a mover and a seconder for the recommended program here. You're just listening to people. We might want to investigate the driver licensing a bit more, possibly. So do we have the option to park this up and do a bit more investigation before we...
We've got a mover and a seconder. It goes to a vote. It doesn't.
Okay. So we've got a mover and seconder. All in favour? Only our regional transport committee are in a position to vote here. We've got a mover and a seconder.
And raised her hand.
I think she's voting. All right.
Yeah, just my hands up to vote.
All in favour?
Aye. Again.
Say again.
Against?
So it's 3 against 2, so it's passed.
So,
Thanks.
yeah. Carried, 3 in favour, 2 against. So that's passed with that program. It's all the business on our agenda today, so I'll close the meeting. Let's do it, closing Karakia.
Closing Karakia.
Kia hora te marano, kia whakapapa unamu te moana. Hei huarahi mā tātou i te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai tātou, ia tātou katoa, hui e, toiki e.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great cheering.